What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with yet again another perfume experience upload. And before we get started, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays for those of you that are celebrating. We are rolling up 2022 and it has been an interesting year to say the least. However, looking forward to 2023 and just wishing everybody happy and safe holidays. And I know there's been a lot of issues with travel right now. So hopefully, if any of you are watching this and you've been traveling, you've made it to your destination, and you don't end up being stuck celebrating Christmas or New Year's in an airport. Been there, done that, and it sucks. Anyways, I digress. For today's sample perfume experience, yes, still on the sample theme because I have quite a bit of them. And for today, I will be talking to you about Xerjoff, and in particular, one of their Oud Stars perfumes, and that is Mamluk. And my sampler is pretty much gone, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this review slash experience, because this is how much I like it. Again, it's one of those where I don't have a full bottle as of yet, but I would like to procure one at some point. Right now is actually a very good time because the Boxing Day is coming up and Xerjoff has their year-end sale. So it's pretty good time to grab bottles of my favorite Xerjoffs. I'll look into it because I have a really long list. You guys that are into perfumes, you know the challenge, the dilemma of having to make a choice between one perfume versus the other. Wish my bank account was endless, but it's not. I digress. Let's get on with the perfume experience. However, before we get started, as is tradition on this channel, got cafe today. In particular, I got a Hartmann natural washed coffee, limited edition from Panama. Wow, so good, so good. Okay, let's get on with this. That's what you guys are here for. We're not a coffee channel, we're a perfume channel, but somehow I'm managing to do both. Okay, so with respect to, so this is coming off of Xerjoff's website. So this is in relation to Mamluk, and they say this: sensual, intoxicating, and irresistibly seductive, Mamluk by Xerjoff is a rare and precious journey through the Far East. Deep and resinous in spirit, top notes of rich honey and caramel accord captivate and enchant, while heart notes of jasmine, osmanthus, and Laotian benzoin hint at floral aromatics with oriental charm. An enticing base of Madagascar vanilla, Laotian oud, and amber set the senses alight as the luxuriant scent reveals itself on the skin. Okay? In terms of the olfactory notes, so your top notes, you have Italian bergamot, honey, and caramel accord. In your middle notes, you have osmanthus, Laotian benzoin, and jasmine. And in the base, you have oud from Laos, buaya from Laos, amber, vanilla, Madagascar. And then they have a little bit of a write-up here on the collection of Oud Stars. So Oud Stars collection by Xerjoff, a collection inspired by the Arab perfume making tradition, contains the most prosperous and precious ingredients in the world, oud. A collection capable of carrying the wearer to another world where this original oriental style is refashioned by Italian craftsmanship and creativity. Guiding us into new stimulating universes and unveiling intense emotions with each spritz of perfume, Oud Stars is entirely inspired by and dedicated to the journey of Ibn Battuta. As vast as the voyage taken by him, each exquisitely crafted perfume in this collection bears the name of the cities he visited and described in his book. Okay, I did not know that. There we go. Up until this moment, reading it for you guys, I did not know that. So that's where they got the names from. Right on. Okay, so gonna grab another sip of cafe, and we will, ladies and gentlemen, proceed with the perfume experience. Alright, so with respect to the spray, hopefully. The sprayers are these, I will say, tend to suck. But then again, there isn't really much left here, so. Anytime now. Okay, here we go. We got a decent amount right here. So the juice is fairly light in color, lightish yellowish, as you can tell right here. Hopefully the camera captures that. So it's a very light yellow, and it is oily. There is a bit of grease to it, so that's how we know there's quite a bit of resinous, oily, thick goodness in there. And we shall proceed. This is wow. It does remind me a lot of the Middle East, I ain't gonna lie. Having visited Dubai and all of these places, it's very reminiscent of the Middle East. It definitely smells very luxurious, very opulent, very majestic. All right. This is just beautiful. The first thing that's gonna stick out to you is how rich and how opulent and exotic smelling it is. It's very classy. It's also very powerful. So it conveys power, but composed power. It's not aggressive in your face. It's also very warm, and that's function of the honey in it and the resins. There's a bit of an animalic facet in there, which I'm gonna assume is a function of the oud plus some of the resins in there. Granted that, to the best of my knowledge, Laotian oud does not tend to be very animalic compared to Hindi oud. This is just very... You know what comes to mind when I smell this? If you've ever traveled or seen videos of the UAE, where the men wear their traditional dishdasha, I believe it's called, and the robe on top of it, and that headdress. It reminds me a lot of that, because that's what a lot of the perfumes and the scents the men over there don't tend to smell like. So it's literally the first thing that comes to my mind is sort of a traditional Gulf Middle Eastern vibe, but done very elegantly, because traditional Gulf Arabic Middle Eastern perfumery tends to be a bit more intense. This definitely has this Italian / Euro twist to it, which really, I find, in my opinion, elevates the experience. This is just so pleasant. It's also kind of a perfume that I would put on if I'm going to a high power lunch in a hotel like the Ritz-Carlton, for example. And I'm sitting there with some, big shots, having a power lunch, closing deals, discussing deals. It's that kind of a perfume. It's very, how should I put it? It's very, it makes you confident in a way in yourself, but it also helps you convey power and authority, but in a good way, not in a bad, oppressive way at all. It also says class. You're very classy, you're very opulent, you're exposed to the finer things in life, you've made it. You're up there. You're at the top. You are the boss, pretty much. This is just super, super, super classy, super elegant, super refined, and just an overall beautiful scent. Now, I will say that when I first got this, I didn't take to it right away, and it's mostly because of the honey note. Honey notes are one of those notes for me personally that I tend to find a bit sickening, depending on how it's formulated and the kind of note being used. The other thing about honey perfumes for me, they tend to be cold weather wear. I just can't wear honey in summer or spring or even fall. The weather needs to be super cold for me to enjoy it. Otherwise, I find it to be a bit overwhelming and suffocating. Now, is the honey in here overbearing? No, not at all. But you definitely pick on it. It is there. You know that there is that honey note. So it's one of those things you have to be careful with, is that if you are not a fan of a honey note, this one might be a bit challenging. Granted, it is much, much nicer than a lot of the other more honey-centric perfumes. The honey here stands out, but it's also very well blended with the other ingredients, and it all just works so beautifully. The honey with the oud, with the resins, with the florals, with the vanilla. It's just gorgeous. There's also this gourmandish touch to this, and this is the function again of the honey as well as the vanilla. It's delicious. This is, when you smell this, it's just intoxicating. It's so gorgeous. And this, by the way, is one of those interesting scents that it's unisex, by the way. It's sold as unisex. But I find the experience of it being sprayed on a man versus a woman differs. I find that, at least from the women I've smelt it on, they tend to accentuate more the gourmandish floral facets. And on the men, it tends to accentuate more the resinous oud qualities to this. And again, not to say that vice versa might not be true, but for the most part, this is how I found it to smell on either gender. So it's definitely a gorgeous unisex formulation. If you're a lady, you'll be comfortable wearing this. If you're a gentleman, you're comfortable wearing this. And there's nothing about it that's gonna be, I guess, off-putting in the sense that it's not gender suitable. It is gender neutral. So in that sense, it is a great, great formulation. Now, let's talk some technical geeky stuff, I guess. In terms of wear, listen, listen, if you can go as far as getting a formal dishdasha, like a traditional Gulf wear, as well as the robe and the head sort of dress, go for it, because you need it for this. This is how you style this, all right? Second best thing, sticking with the formal theme, is a suit, and for a lady, a dress, okay? This is a formal scent. You wear it on casual or semi-formal, semi-casual, it's just incongruent. It does not mish and mash. It does not smell right with the look, okay? You need to be formal with this, guys and gals. So stick to formal, and it will really accentuate your whole appearance and your whole presentation to those around you, okay? Now, in terms of performance, so I'm gonna say that this isn't actually beast mode, surprisingly. You can get it to beast mode if you spray more than 2 sprays. I do not recommend doing that, just because these are pretty strong formulations scent-wise, and you do not want to choke yourself out or suffocate yourself out. You use choke because that's how violent it can get. But in terms of performance, in terms of projection, you're not actually getting far out projection unless you do a lot of sprays. However, you are gonna have a good cloud of that scent around you, at least in your immediate vicinity. In terms of trail and sillage, same thing. It's not beast mode. You will have a good trail and sillage around you momentarily. wherever you've been, but it's not one of those trails on Silage that linger there for, a few minutes to possibly even an hour. Not by any stretch of the imagination. The strength of this formulation comes from the quality of the ingredients and the potency of the notes. And there's a distinction in that when it comes to smelling versus performing. Okay, so scent wise, it's a very high quality scent, so you're gonna get very good scent profile out of it. But in terms of performance, again, I wouldn't say beast mode unless you go more than 2 sprays. And I don't know why you would want to do that, because the thing about this perfume, it has a lot of essential oils in it, and it is a pure perfume. So you're gonna get I think it is a pure perfume. I might have to look that up, but it's pretty potent scent wise, but projection wise, trail, silage, so overall performance, it's actually fairly reasonable. I give it about 5 or 6 out of 10. So it's good in that sense. People do need to come close to you to pick on it, but it's not going to be one of those perfumes where somebody from the other side of the room will smell you coming in. In terms of seasonality, I've touched on that a bit. Winter. This is perfect for winter or evening wear. Okay, I find any other season or during the day it's a bit too much. Again, I mean, it's up to you how you want to wear it or style it, but go with my skin chemistry and just the notes of this. I prefer it as evening wear or as winter wear seasonality wise. With respect to setting or context, I'm gonna say this might be a bit gourmandish playful for an office setting. You can pull it in an office setting, but it really depends on what kind of office you work in, right? If you take this to a government office, I would say no. So if you're a public servant, definitely no. If you work in a bank, depends on what department of the bank. So if you work in marketing, yes, you'll pull it off. If you work in accounting, no, it won't fly by. Okay, so it's a formal scent, but it's kind of, there's different formal settings, so you have to be aware of what kind of formal setting you're in. I prefer this going out to a nice dinner in the evening in winter, going to a nice restaurant, or a nice hotel like the Ritz-Carlton or the Shangri-La, or any of these like ritzy nice places. This would be a fantastic scent to pull through for that sort of context. But otherwise, I think it can be a bit overkill. I ain't gonna lie. So, with that said, do I recommend Mamluk by Xerjoff? 100% yes. Caveat being, you have to like Laotian oud and you have to be into gourmandish honey notes. Okay? If that is your jam, get your nose on it, get your wallet on it, and cop it. And the good news about Xerjoff is that they have samples, so you can buy samples to sample test prior to fully, jumping into a full bottle, because the bottles are a bit pricey. They get up to, I believe, 600, 700 US territory, so they can get a bit pricey. But luckily, you can sample these. And as per any natural ingredient-based perfumes, do be cognizant of batches, because I'd imagine you're gonna have certain variations between the batches depending on the time of year the ingredient was sourced or cultivated versus the batch year. There's just so much that goes into it that you have to be cognizant of, okay? But overall, 10 out of 10. Get your nose on it, get your wallet on it, cop it. Let me know in the comments if you have this, what your experience with it has been like, if you've enjoyed it. If there are any other oud, honey, gourmandish equivalents of this, I really do enjoy this. And that's coming from a guy that is not big on honey notes, but this one is an exception for me, okay? So with that said, that'll be it for today, you guys. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention. And happy holidays, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.